It's time to remove the mystery from medicine, to seize control of one's health, and to genuinely comprehend the essence of terms like wellness and wholeness. The Ask Dr. Jill podcast provides information, knowledge, and empowerment information to empower you to be wholly well. Dr. Jill Waggoner has nearly 3 decades of medical practice and has a deep-rooted belief in diverse approaches to patient care, well beyond conventional medicine. This realization has fueled her lifelong pursuit of understanding a holistic perspective on health.
Hello, how are you? I'm glad you guys are back with me again. So you're at the Ask Dr. Jill podcast, and I am Ask Dr. Jill. No, I'm Dr. Jill. I'm not Ask Dr. Jill. I'm Dr. Jill, your show host. Man, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. That is good stuff. Thank y'all so much for coming to our podcast, where we will take an opportunity to talk about current things, to answer your questions. So if you have not gone on at askdrjill.net or Instagram at Ask Dr. Jill, Threads at Ask Dr. Jill, Facebook Ask Dr. Jill, and sent us your question, please do that. And don't forget to like, share, spread the word about the Ask Dr. Jill podcast for the 3rd season. So I hope your 2024 is going good. We talked about that last time. I hope you guys got out of the street from falling off the wagon and rolling in the street, and you got back on the wagon again, and you are doing those things. I hope you have added to your life some sunshine, some walking, and you are prioritizing sleep. It is great to be with you. I don't know if there's anything exciting happening in y'all's lives. If there is, share it so we'll know what's going on, if there's some good stuff happening. So the last time we were together, I asked at the end of that segment, that show, we talked about some of the questions that I'm getting, and I've been getting from a lot of people. Dr. Jill, you look good. What are you doing? And first of all, it's funny to me because when you say to people, I'm doing a lot of stuff, I'm exercising and changing the way I eat and prioritizing sleep, and they kind of look at you like, huh? They really want some magic. Let me tell you, there is no magic. If you are going to be well, then you really have to do everything. So that's the one side. And then the other thing, y'all are just like me. Y'all see people online and they've lost 130 pounds and now they are just brilliant and they've had all this breakthrough. And if you just make up your mind and make the decision about, that's not true either. This is more than that. So what really has happened in the last, I think I really started diving in, trying to do as much as I could do in March of last year. So it's taken me, 9 months or something to significantly change my body. Well, I'm not ready for a swimsuit competition or anything, but to change my body and to get healthier. I was telling one of my friends, he said, man, you really look amazing. And it's interesting if men who are friends in your life, when they tell you look amazing, they really have to see something different, because first of all, they're not going to say anything because they're not sure, how to say it, because they don't want to say anything when you gain weight. So they don't want to say anything when you lose weight. So they just act like they don't. It's like, hey, they don't know what to say, and they don't know if they're going to make your husband mad. It's just a whole lot of dynamics. But he said, you really look amazing. And he said, so what is it? How do you feel differently? I said, the biggest thing for me is that I am able to bend over and tie my shoe and breathe at the same time. I can tie my shoe and breathe. Now, those of you who have never been fluffy, you don't understand the significance of that. But for those of us who have had fluffy periods in our lives, some of us fluffy decades, tying one's shoe Tying one shoe and breathing at the same time is a whole thing. And so can we take some time and just woo for the tying of the shoe? I'm going to have to get one of those applause things to go in the background so I can at least feed my own ego. If not, if nothing else, and think I'm amazing. So anyway, today, I am kind of going to go through some of the things that I think are important for you to know when you are really trying to assess your physical health and how to be better and how to make yourself well. So first of all, I started this journey. Actually, one of my patients came in to see me. Hi, Hyacinth. She came in to see me and she had done so well. And I said, what are you doing? And she told me about this program called the 40-Day Turn Up. This is not a commercial for anybody, but just the truth is what it is. And she said, you can only join it. It's run by Dr. Joe. He's out of Atlanta. She said, can you, you can only join it if somebody invites you. And she said, would it be insulting to you if I invited you to join? And I said, girl, no, I know I'm fluffy and I'm trying not to be. I have desperately tried not to be. And so she invited me to the 40-Day Turn Up. So I did the 40-Day Turn Up, and that started me on the journey of really trying to figure out what was better. So the thing that came to me during the 40-Day Turn Up, during the initial part of it is, first of all, I am a doctor and, board certified family practice. Y'all know the thing. If you know my bio, I'm a doctor for real. I'm not saying that other people are not for real doctors, but I am one. And so as I listened to the information and I kind of sat through the whole thing with the healthcare providers, including doctors getting beat up and everybody saying all we want is money and all of that kind of stuff. When I set my ego aside and got through that and listened to what was going on, I really tuned in. But there was one person who had done the turn up before, and this is what she said, the thing that really moved me. So there were two things that moved me. One was Dr. Joe, the leader of the program, saying the first rule of self-control is controlling what goes in your mouth. And I don't know why. Y'all know that in that scene in the 10 Commandments where God is writing on the rock. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And then he says to thou shalt not kill. And then the stuff comes out and like burns Moses. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of you try to play like you don't, but you know what I'm talking about. But so it came out and burned me. It's like, that's pretty significant. That's the first rule of self-control, being able to control what goes in your mouth. So that was one thing that I think was really pivotal for me. Then the other was they were talking to an attorney who had been successful with the program. And this is what she said. She said, I have been very successful. I have a law firm and I've done all of these things in my life. And she said, it occurred to me, this is paraphrasing her, it occurred to me that anything that I wanted to do, I studied. And I put a lot of time into it. And that's how I figured out how to get healthier, how to lose weight specifically. So if you know me already, you know that I am a studier. I am one of those people. During COVID, I was talking to folk, my friends were calling me, even people who are doctors saying, okay, Jill, what did you find? Because what they knew for sure, if there was some information out there, I was going to find it. And so it occurred to me, I put a lot of effort into a lot of things, but I had not studied obesity. I had not taken the time to put all of the study in, turn on those resources, look at as many things as I could about obesity and weight. And so I had not done that. So I kind of took a deep dive. So that's how we got here. So I would tell y'all how much weight I've lost, but I don't know. I might tell you at the end. Y'all want me to tell you? I don't know. Let me think about it. I'm going to pray on it. tell you at the end of this episode. So the first thing that I realized, and I think it's true of everybody now who we understand that obesity or excess weight is not a, it is a symptom of something else that's going on metabolically, that it is a metabolic disease. It is dysfunction. And so when you understand that, and you understand it's not a personality disorder, it's not just people are not eating, they just make the decision and they just don't eat right. That is not what it is. It is bigger than that. I will tell you, every patient that I've ever seen who was overweight, they want to lose weight and they have tried everything. I know when I was at my fluffiest, I was exercising just almost more in some cases than I was when I wasn't as fluffy. So the first thing is to understand that it's a metabolic disorder, and then assess it metabolically. And then once you do that, you understand what's going on. So this is what I want to say to you. If you have issues, particularly with weight, this is good for other health issues, but particularly with weight, the first thing is you have to get an analysis. What does that mean? You need to know what your lab work is. All hormones need to be looked at during your lab work. You need to know, if you're a female, what's your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone levels. You need to know thyroid hormone. You also need to know insulin levels. Even though you're not diabetic, you need to know what your insulin levels are. And I'll tell you why in a few minutes. Because insulin is absolutely critical in allowing your body to burn fat. You have to understand what those levels are so you can understand if you're insulin resistant or not. The other thing is you need to have a weight. Now, listen, y'all, you're going to have to weigh yourselves. I know it's traumatic, but get on the scale. Now, the best time to get on the scale is in the morning after you have gotten up, you have gone to the bathroom, you have exhaled all of the air out of, y'all know what I'm talking about, and you get on there in your birthday suit and you weigh. That's a good way. So you know exactly what's going on. You have to weigh, and you have to weigh on a regular basis. Why do you want to weigh on a regular basis? So that you are not traumatized every time you weigh. Now it becomes a thing. It's just something that you do to check in with your body. Why do you have to weigh? Because if you don't, you will gain 20 pounds. And y'all know our clothes will accommodate a 20-pound weight gain, and just no big deal. You just stretch them out a little bit more and you're still comfortable. And so you will have gained 20 pounds before you know it. So you have to do that. The other thing is kind of check out with your body. The other thing is you have to get a body fat analysis. You have to know what percentage of your body is lean muscle, what percentage is body fat. That's important for you to know, because as you start to lose weight, you want to make sure that you maintain your lean muscle mass and that you lose body fat. That's kind of the first part of this thing. So just get an analysis, go into the doctor for weight loss. Then the other thing that I want to say about going into the doctor for weight loss, if your doctor says to you, let's say you go in and your doctor says, you say, oh, I've seen Ozempic, I've seen Mounjaro, will you give me a prescription? They say, oh yeah, I'll write one, and they give you that and go. It's not going to work, y'all. It is not going to work. You've got to have a program so you know what to do so you can change your life. I know that the media is saying that, the shots are magic and all that. They're not. I promise. I have written some prescriptions for some folk, have not lost an ounce. I just want you to know that there is no magic under the sun. Okay. So go into your doctor so you can get a program. The second thing, you must understand food. Now listen to me. There's a concept that we've said forever that a calorie is a calorie. It is not. A calorie is not a calorie. So stop counting calories. You heard it right here. Stop counting calories. It doesn't matter. There's a difference between, and there are some obesity experts and some endocrine experts that say they wish we would throw the concept of a calorie away, because people think that if they eat 1,200 calories, it can be 1,200 calories of cardboard, that they should be okay. There is no calorie counter in your body. So your body doesn't say, oh, we've eaten 1,000 calories. Oh, we've eaten eating 2,000 calories. Now let's burn up 1,000 and put 1,000 away. That's not how it works. Your body, the food that you eat gives your body signals via hormones and chemicals, gives your body signals, and then your body determines what to do with it. So it's not so much how many calories are in the food, it's how many nutrients are in the food. So you got to understand food. That's the other thing. So a calorie is not a calorie. The other thing is you got to understand the difference between processed and non-processed foods. Why is this important? Because that's the basis for being able to feed your body properly. If you don't understand what a processed food is and why it's not a good thing, then you're just going to do the same things you've always done. So when you start to count calories and you're trying to lose weight, you literally could get down to 1,000 calories a day and still not lose weight if metabolically things have not changed, if hormonally things have not changed. And I think that's critical for you to know. The other thing is you got to at least get a basic understanding what macronutrients are and what micronutrients are. Macronutrients are the ones that you hear, macro meaning large. So that's your protein, that's your carbohydrates, that's your fat. Micronutrients are the other things like the flavonoids and other chemicals that are in the food that helps your body to perform certain things. They're different, and you have to know that they are. For instance, in a cup of tea, you've got chemicals, micronutrients that are good for your body. There are no calories in just plain tea. And you've got to know that in different teas, there are different things. Oh, by the way, today I'm focused on chamomile mint tea. So if I fall over asleep, y'all know what happens. No, I won't fall over asleep, but chamomile is a very calming tea. Okay, so that's the second part. Understand food. You don't have to be a culinary expert. You don't have to be somebody who understands all of the biochemistry of the food, but you at least have to understand, because processed foods, y'all, have chemicals in them that stimulate appetite. Why do they stimulate appetite? Because people who sell food sell it and want you to buy more of it because that's how they make their living. I'm not mad at them. That's what happens. But you got to know. So then you have to know that they're hormones. So the first thing you have to understand is what's going on with your body. The next thing you have to understand foods. So you're kind of getting ready. You're loading up. I'm getting ready. I'm getting my arsenal ready for what I need to do. And then the next things you have to understand that there are hormones involved in obesity and what those hormones are. One of the key ones that you have to understand is, of course, they're your reproductive hormones in women and men who are going through andropause and women who are going through menopause or PMS or some of the other things understands the reproductive hormones. But the main not calorie regulating, but fat regulating hormone in your body is insulin. And so you must have a clear understanding of what insulin is, not so that you can give a thesis on it, but so you can understand why it's important in your body. So we'll talk about that. Now, once you understand that insulin is the hormone in your body that regulates fat storage, a lot of you have heard the term insulin resistance. So briefly, let me tell you what insulin does. Insulin is the hormone that helps your body take energy from circulating and put it into the cells so that you could use it, okay? The only way that we store energy in our bodies, we store a very, very, very little bit of sugar, but we usually store it as fat. So insulin is the hormone that helps your body to store fat. It is a fat storage hormone. Why is that important? You have to know what things elevate insulin level. Sugar elevates insulin. And if your insulin is elevated, it keeps your body from burning fat. Y'all follow me? You cannot burn fat if your insulin level is elevated. So if you eat sugar, you elevate insulin, you cannot get to the fat to burn it. Is that pretty simple? I hope so. Remember, insulin is a fat storage hormone. So how do you get insulin levels to fall? You get insulin levels to fall by not eating. Wow. Imagine that. If you don't eat, then you'll have to burn fat. I know that sounds really simple, but it's contrary to what we've been told forever. Remember how a lot of people still say that you've got to eat every 2 hours to keep the fires burning. No, you do not. It is our eating every 2 hours that has kept our insulin levels high, that keeps us in a fat storage state that has gotten us all fluffy. Therein lies one of the reasons for the fluffy epidemic. I think we ought to take a little minute, have a little tea, sip a little tea. Do y'all follow me? I think that's it. So the way you get the insulin to fall is you get it to fall by not eating. That's why people are being so successful with intermittent fasting. Now, what fasting means is not eating. So if you go a long enough period of time without food, and it usually takes pretty close to 12 hours before your insulin level drops low enough that your body starts to burn fat. When you do that, your body starts to burn fat. And when you start to burn fat, you start to lose the fat and your body weight goes down. It sounds really simple, but that is just that simple. So you cannot eat all the time and think your body is going to pull out the snack that you have around your waist and use it. It's not going to happen. We are not made like that. So you want to fast. So fasting, intermittent fasting, means giving your body a period of time without food and giving your body and yourself a small window of eating. So most people think it ought to be somewhere about 16 hours of fasting without food. So you have a period of time. What did I say? At about 12 hours, you really start burning fat. So you have 4 hours during your day where you start to really burn that fat. And before you eat, and then you eat again, and you eat between a specific period of time. So that's one of the things that you want to do, intermittent fasting. So I've done intermittent fasting. I do about a 16-hour intermittent fast. So I don't really eat anything that would elevate my blood sugar before around noon. So I stop eating. I try to eat no later than 7 or 8. And then, don't you remember our grandparents did this? They did this. You also remember when we were kids, we were not fluffy. You know why? They didn't let us snack. Y'all remember? Now when you go to school, they got to have a snack mid-morning for the children. They got to have a snack before lunch. They got to have a snack after lunch. You got to have a snack in the car. You go, why are we snacking? We do not need snacks to survive. That keeps our blood sugar up all the time. That keeps us having high insulin all the time. That keeps us storing fat and not burning fat. So I think that's very important. You got that? Those are some of the components that you want to do. So you eat good, healthy foods that are not processed. They don't have to be fancy. I have a lot of people who say, I don't really cook. I don't know how to cook. I don't have time to cook. If we go on the food piece, this is what you need to know. It doesn't take very long to cook healthy food. Most of us, when we think about cooking, we think about what it takes to cook Sunday dinner or Thanksgiving dinner. It takes hours. That is not what you're doing, because if you do that all the time, then, fluffy as thou shalt be. So what you want to do is do something simple. So when you look at your meals, think about this. I want 3 macronutrients. I want some fat. I want some protein. I want some carbohydrate. The fat, of course, can be healthy fat. It can be in the form of some nuts or some seeds or one of the healthy oils like olive oil. So you can saute those vegetables, lots of green ones. You can do other kinds, but have as many vegetables as you can. You saute them with a little bit of the fat. That's your fat that helps the absorption. And then you can do a protein source, which can be either an animal product if you are consuming animal products, or it can be a high protein plant product like a bean or a lentil or something like that. By the way, there's protein in all vegetables, but you want to make sure that you get that. So it's just that simple. So you can do a salad with some salad dressing and some protein. You can do an egg, or you can do some cheese. Y'all follow me? It's really simple. Or you can do some grilled veggies and something, and that'll get you to where you want to go. So you got your food, you make it really, really simple. You have things that you can do all the time. And then the next thing is your exercise. Now, this is the thing about exercise that I think is really important to say to people. When you are trying to lose weight, many people start running, they start doing 20,000 steps a day, they start doing all of these things that are all cardiovascular exercise. That's good for heart health. But the main thing that you need to do is make sure that you maintain or increase lean muscle mass. Why does that matter? Muscles use energy. Fat only stores energy. It doesn't use any. So if you have a body that is mostly fat, you are storing energy. You are not using it. You've got to have lean muscles. So yes, women, you have to do resistance training. That can be with bands or it can be with weights. You've got to do things that are going to stimulate your muscles to maintain that lean muscle mass. That is so important. One of the issues that's going on now with people who are using some of the medications to lose weight is that if they don't do resistance training, then they lose their lean muscle mass. When you lose your lean muscle mass, several things happen. You lose your balance, because how are we able to walk and operate is we have to have that lean muscle that moves our skeleton around. We are more likely to fall and injure ourselves. We don't burn as many calories. We don't burn as much fuel. So when you lose your lean muscle mass, you can eat very little food and you're just going to be storing because you have no way to burn it. So that's really, really important that you maintain your lean muscle mass. Then the other thing, if you're going to be on a health journey, I said you had to start with doing all of those things so that you go and you get the lab and you know that. I recommend you do self-monitoring. What does that mean? It is 2024. You can monitor your own self's blood sugar. You can monitor your own blood pressure. You can weigh yourself daily. There are some other things that you can do that you can monitor at home, but please monitor your things. If you are trying to lower that insulin and lower that blood sugar, how do you know what it is if you don't monitor it? There's something called a continuous glucose monitor. You can get it, you can put it on, and you'll know what happens when you consume certain foods. I think that's very important. The reason I think it's important is because sometimes you eat, you have no idea what that food is doing to your body. You have no idea how you respond to it. When you have a glucose monitor on, you know that if you eat rice, no matter if it's brown or black or whatever, that your blood sugar goes through the roof. And if it goes through the roof, so does your insulin. What does that mean? You are storing those calories and not using them in your body. That sounds pretty simple, but it is critical for you to know that. So you want to know that. And then I told you to weigh daily. Now let's get to medications. I think it's really important to get to medications. Recently, I did a post because somebody asked Oprah a question about her weight loss, and I absolutely love her response, and I'm using it myself now. It's not one thing, it's everything. I absolutely love that because that is so the truth. But before I say that, this is something my husband always said, baby, there is no weight loss magic, because if there were, Oprah would use it and then give it away as one of her favorite things. He always said that. And so when Oprah was able to like thin down really slim down quickly, she's done a lot of things. She exercises, she's all of those things, but she's also said she uses medications, and that's one of the GLP-1 agonists, or the GIP agonists, which is Ozempic and Mounjaro. Those are important for you to know. But so medications, I believe that those medications are really changing what we do. They've really given us a way to treat obesity like the disease that it is. So, but it's one thing in our arsenal. There are other medications that help you on your wellness and weight loss journey. One are appetite suppressants. They've been around forever. If you are a person that appetite appetite is the issue, you're just always hungry, then you might use an appetite suppressant. If you're a person that needs more hormonal balance, then some of the others are a question. There also may be an option for you. There are also medications that help people with addictions. One is like naltrexone. We give it to people who are addicted to drugs, but it also helps people who are addicted to foods because foods have some addictive qualities. Again, you want to sit down to with a doctor who knows what they're doing so they can help guide you to where you need to be. Then the next thing I want to tell you about is support. You've got to talk to your family and friends. When you are really trying to get healthy, talk to your family and friends and say, listen, I'm trying to do this thing and I need you to help me do it. I need you not to bring me when you go get donuts. Please don't bring me one. Please do not give me cookies. Please do not do it. And I want to say to family and friends who has somebody in their circle who's trying to do better with their health journey, do not sabotage them. Do not make them feel like an outcast. Don't say to them, well, if you're not going to eat it, I'll eat it. Stop. See if you can help them in some way, because anything that people are trying to do to be better is a real thing. And so most importantly, before we go, I want to tell you that you have to start seeing obesity, like I said, as a metabolic disease and disorder. If you understand that, then you will address the root cause and you will use everything that is available to you to make it better. Okay, go watch me, share it, do all of the stuff, go into the world, be great and wonderful. And if you want to be skinny, be that too. Have a great day.